Yes, it's Seal Test Variety Theater with Henry Russell and his orchestra, the Crew Chiefs Quartet, Waukegan's answer to Yasha Heifetz, Jack Benny, and one of America's favorite song and dance men, George Murphy. And here she is, our gal Thursday, the singing star of Variety Theater, Dorothy Lamour.
Thank you and hello, everyone. Like the man says, there's good news tonight. In one corner is my old friend, a broth of a lad if I ever saw one, and begorra I've seen one, George Murphy. And in the other corner, that suave, slave-driving boss of mine. Just finished a picture for him. Jack Benny. Boys, take a bow.
Say, Dottie, did you two really just finish a picture together?
Together? I worked for him.
Well, honey, what do you think of the new preacher?
You should have seen that picture
He
contract
stinks.
he drew up. Wow.
Worst preaching I've ever
I didn't
heard.
think it was so bad. It was a standard contract.
That was a
It's just my first father-in-law.
What about clause 42C?
What is wrong with that?
Boy, I never heard anybody that could butcher the Bible like he
Doing
could.
the producer's laundry.
Well,
You never talk
I
much
did
about
when
him.
I worked for the Warner Brothers. There are two of them. By the way, Dottie,
What was your first wife like?
for Jack.
I don't know.
After 20 years of being married to me, why the hell would you care?
No Jack.
How'd you meet her?
Geez, we're so bored that we got to talk about that.
Have you ever done any comedy?
Well, I worked with Bob Hope.
That's a pretty good start. Yeah. Oh, George, I wanted to talk.
Well, I'm 20 years old and I'm roughnecking down in Kilgore. I was walking by this little store next to the boarding house where I was living. I'd only been in Kilgore about a week. I didn't know anybody. And there she was leaning up against this lamppost with an unlit cigarette in her mouth. Look, Mandy, if you're going to make me tell you this crap, you better keep the whiskey coming.
Oh, of course, Joe. I know you can't tell a story sober.
Just like you can't listen to one sober. Anyway, she looks up at me and she says, "Hey baby, how about a light?" And I say, "Well, I don't smoke, but I'll get you some matches." So I walk inside the store and I buy her a penny box of matches. And I come back out and I light her cigarette. You know, she's not bad looking, got kind of a tight dress on. And so I tell her, "Hey, even though I don't smoke, I do like to take a drink now and then. Would you like to join me?" Well, she says, "I don't drink because my daddy is the Baptist preacher and he won't let me." And so I say, "Well, that's just fine. You can smoke and watch me drink." And that's what we did. We started going out together, but I never did see her touch a drop of liquor. But boy, she always had a cigarette hanging out of her mouth.
I remember the first time I met you, I was wearing a tight dress.
Yeah, a tight dress on a tight woman. You had a drink in your hand at the time, remember?
So what happened? You never told me the story about why you split up with her.
Can't we just play cards and listen to the show?
Oh, come on now. It's just getting interesting.
Well, one thing led to another, and about 6 months later we got married. And her daddy, the Baptist preacher, performed the ceremony. And sure enough, he called me the bride and her the groom. He was the worst damn preacher I've ever seen. Anyway, she was undoubtedly the laziest wife a man could have. I mean lazy like she never emptied the ashtrays out in the house. So one day I had to come home from the rig early because I had to drive a man back to town that got hurt. So I walk in the house and I say, "Hey honey, I'm home." And since she wasn't in the living room, I walked straight on back to the bedroom. Guess what I saw? There she was, humping the guy that owned the tobacco shop down the street. I mean, can you imagine? This broad really liked his cigarettes.
I'm sorry, honey. I shouldn't have made you tell it.
Oh, it was a long time ago. I got the better end of the bargain. I got a woman who drinks but doesn't smoke. she puts up with me. It worked out. Come on, honey, let's play cards.
Get the basket, seal, test